Hi, hi, hi everyone. In this video, we will be discussing multi-dimensional array. In my previous video, we have discussed how to access, how to declare the variable, what is the need of what is the need of array, and how to initialize the array, how to access the array members using the for loops, and we have demonstrated through the some of the problems with the example, right? So in this is a multi-dimensional array. So what is the need of accessing the how do you access the two-dimensional array, how to declare the two-dimensional array, and also how to initialize them. So all this will be we'll see in these videos. Okay, let us move to the straight away, right? So multi-dimensional array, it is the row number of rows versus columns, right? Declaring a two-dimensional array, declaring a two-dimensional array, syntax will be like this. First, it will always, as you like your previous array, single dimensional array, always start with the data type, then array name, variable name, that is the array name as given, and size of the row and size of the column, right? Two-dimensional array can be seen as a table. It is a row versus column. X is indicated rows and Y is indicated a column. Okay, so this is row, this is column, right? Look at that initialization, or this is a syntax declaration, right? You have to declare like this. Data type as given int, and array variable name is a data, and the number of rows in this 3, number of column also 3. This array can be able to store the 9 values. 9 values can be stored in this array. Okay, so the x is, it is from the 0 to 2, and another x is indicated starting from the 0 to x minus 1, and y can be 0 to y minus 1. It can able to store the values, right? So look at that, the example will be like this. The row 0 1 2 and column 0 1 2, that means it is a 3 cross 3. So number of rows are 3, number of column also 3. It is always, as you told in the array, always index start with the 0, 0 1 and 2, right? 3 rows and 3 columns are there. So here it is 0, and the first row of 0 and first row of column, this is indicating whatever the element store it in this position. When try to access, you have to use the data of 0 comma 0, like that. 0 1 0 2 1 0, the second row of the first element will be try to access, you have to use this 1 comma 0 and 1 1 and 1 2, and third row of the first element, it try to access, it have to use like this, the 2 comma 0, that 2 comma 0, dot of 2 comma 0, like that you can declare the two-dimensional array, right? The initializing and accessing a two-dimensional array, we'll see some example here. So we have to store the data like this. Int data, number of rows are 3, number of columns are 3. So the value you have to try to store it in curly braces 1 2 3, that will be the first row and second row and third row, all this. So how many columns are there? 1 2 and 3 columns are there. So you can declare this. First you have to can be initialize, then you can be store the value to the two-dimensional array, right? Like this also it can be stored. So all this will be storing like this, all the values. So need to access them, you have to print like this. You have to need to access the values from 0 0, that first value will be accessed, 0 1 second value, 0 3, this 0 2 will be accessing third element, and so on. And if we try to access this second row of the first element, you have to use a 1 0, second 1 1, and third is 1 2, and similarly for the third row of first element 2 0, and so on. Like that you can able to access these values and also it can be initialized like this. Let's see some of the other example, right? So we can store all the, even it is a 2 comma 4, that means 8 element you can able to store it in this two-dimensional array. So because number of rows is 2, number of column is 4, that means 4 elements, 4 columns are there, 2 rows are there. You can able to store like this, right? So all this how to access, again it is a 0 0, first row of the first element, second element, third element and fourth element. Similarly for the second row of first element, 1 0 1 1 1 2 1 3 and so on, right? Like this can able to write a any program using the two-dimensional array. So let us move. Now so far I have giving a element and all the values store it directly in the code itself, directly initializing values. So I try to access a value from the user, then you can use the scanf statement, input statement. Look at that, you have to initialize, declare the array, two-dimensional array, and you have to use the for loop as you told, right? Two-dimensional means this that for loop is initialize the for row wise, at row wise incrementation, row wise accessing a value. Second for loop indicating a column values. The two for loop we are using indicating this. So we need try to access the two-dimensional array. So there is enter the array element, you have to initial try to read the data from the user, right? All this because you have enter all this 1 2 3 4 and so on, right? Okay, all 10 values are entered here because there is 3 cross 3. 3 cross 3 means it is a 9 values taken it here. So 9 value can be able to store in the table because 9 values entered it. So once you have entered, all this value will be stored in the array data. So I need to read them and store it. Now we have to print them to the outside. So how do you print it? Again for two for loop you have to use it. I try to access the data storage which is stored in the data variable. That means you have to use the variable for two for loop. One indicate is a row, other one it is indicating a one for loop, inner and outer for loop indicate row and column respectively. So we have to printing all these values, store it in this, right? Okay, so first row of the I0 and I0, that first row and first row column will be printing it. When I is 0, J get incremented. So until this condition false. So once it get a condition false, it will come out the outer for loop. Then I is get incremented 1. Then I less than 3, then here it is again j is 0, I 1 comma I is 1 and j is 0 second time. So it is second row will be accessing and so on, this will be get increment until the outer column get condition is false, will come out and printing all this element, right? Look at this 1 2 3 4 5 7 8, this like that it can be access the values any condition any way of it, right? So I think you hope you understand over the whatever value you can, if you can able to assign the values directly in the two-dimensional array variables, or you can be read it from this user end using a scanf statement, and also you can printing it. Both you can understand the two conventional way of using the two-dimensional array. So in this case I need to count the number of positive negative number and 0 element from the 3 cross 3 matrix. There is a one program I have written it because which you have shown it in the single dimensional array. I also you can count the number of positive and negative number among 9 numbers, right? You know how to read the data to take a data from the user end. You can read it, all the 9 values you have read it, and you have to test them, each one of them. You have to test the first row and all this first element which is greater than, that will become the positive. If at all is not greater than, it is a less than of it, negative number, If at a even it is not less than the 0, it may be 0. It is a 0 element, it get incremented like that. Finally you have print all the three numbers. So in this case it is 0 is 1, rest of the number, how many negative numbers are there? Only 2 is the negative number, remaining are the positive number, right? So there is a 9 number, among the 9 values are stored in the data. So among it, 2 are negative number, 1 are is 0 number, other 2 6 are positive number. Like that you can use the two-dimensional array for any application. It is, you must understand that in this video how to use the two-dimensional array, and how to read the data from the user, and how to data can store able to directly values in array variables, or I can read a data from the user, how to uh, apply this array data to check the particular problem or logic. So I think you understand this concept through this program. So I'll give you two programs for you to practice at home. Develop a program to perform the addition of two matrix. So other two are multiplication of two matrix. Please you have to do this at practice. So then it will be lifelong, will be in your mind. A similar concept will be using in another programming language. So the one programming language you are should be pakka. So you will be understanding concept thoroughly. You can able to use the other programming language as well as. So I hope you understand this concept. I'll wind up this video today. Thank you.